don't make us who we are. So I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mentorship Week with Maren and Michelle. We are back again. Sorry, we've missed you. Although you've probably already seen a video now that we're saying this, though. No, you've already seen us. So hello, nice to see you guys. Maren, how are you?
I'm good, Michelle. How are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. It's been a very busy week, as it always is. And I'm looking forward to talking to you today because we haven't seen each other because technically
I
it's been the Canadian Thanksgiving and we had a lot going on last week and everything too. And we've had some very exciting news come up. But before we talk about that, would you like to talk about what Eric came to you and said today and kind of what we're going to talk about, which you didn't know about?
I know, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I had, no idea what we should talk about. There's nothing kind of like pressing in my life or I need to ask you a question. So I was just like, hey, Eric, what should we talk about today? And he said divine intervention. And so then I was like, I don't know, divine intervention. I don't know. Okay, whatever. And then I get on with you, Michelle, and what you told me, I was like, that goes perfectly with divine intervention. No wonder Eric mentioned that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. And okay, so, and I will share with everybody, and some of you may already heard it because I did talk about it on the radio show. I know Elisa talked about it too, but so a couple weeks ago, well, first of all, to start, many of you may already know, and we've discussed it before, that Rob was diagnosed with prostate cancer in, I think it was end of July, beginning of August, but he had some medical issues that were going on, and throughout all of that stuff, that was also discovered. So, um, it was a little bit heavy, and this would be our third family event with cancer. So, it wasn't something we wanted to deal with again, but we were like, okay, we can do this. We can get through this. Um, anyway, in the course of from August up until recently, um, many prayers have been sent. A lot of healing has been sent. Maren, I know you've done healing and prayers. I've done healing. Elisa did scalar work on Rob, and I talked about that right before we actually got the results. Elisa did scalar work that week, and I knew the day that she did it because I was peeing like crazy. It always does that to me. But it's Eric has told me that it's like a toxin release. It's like a flush of my body. So it was a very welcome experience because I knew what was happening. Anyway, so we got our first appointment came up and Rob had to go for a biopsy, and it was actually they called it a dissection, and he was supposed to have 6 samples taken, and he had this done in September. And what this was doing would tell us, what stage is the cancer at, what treatment are we going to do? Can we do surgery? Do we have to do chemo, radiation, anything like that? So that's what we were getting in the results. And they called us and they said, well, we have to cancel your first appointment because we don't have the results in yet. We thought, oh, and it's interesting because even as I'm saying this, you know how you have that little back thought? I had that little thought in my head, like, I know everything's backed up and I know it takes time, but there's something about this that feels right. There's something about this that feels like it's going to be okay. Like that, maybe that's waiting for a reason. Anyway, we finally do have our appointment. And I think it was last week, the week before last week. And the doctor says, I can't believe I'm going to say this. He goes, like, I had to double check this. I'm absolutely speechless. But he says, there's no sign of cancer. And not only did they didn't just take 6 samples, they ended up taking 17 samples from him. So they had a really good look at what was going on.
yeah. Oh,
And yeah, there's no cancer. And so what they're going to do
I
It
still
is.
have
I
goosebumps
know. I
every
know.
time you say that.
And,
It's
you know,
unbelievable.
and when we were talking about it just earlier, like I said to you, I'm like, I still feel like we're processing that
Yeah.
because it's like, are we, do we really hear that? Like, is that true? Did that really happen?
It's so weird. You like hear about those stories, you know what I mean? But you never actually think that. I never thought I would meet someone that has that story, you know, and
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you couldn't believe that that actually happened to you. Like, that's just
Yeah. Yeah.
so unbelievable.
Like it's a miracle. Like
It is a
that's how
miracle.
it's a miracle. And it truly is. And I'm like feel like the most fortunate person in the world. Like Rob and I are just so grateful and so happy, and our kids, like we all went out and celebrated. We took the kids. We also went on our like a Halloween tour. So my husband like maps out different locations that are like all done up for Halloween, and takes
Oh,
we're
cute.
doing another one tonight with spooky music going and everything, and so we're going to travel around. So it's changed kind of that outlook. We can feel that lift come off our family. So that, you know, do we know exactly how that happened? No. We know that there was a lot of prayers coming from many different directions. We know that Rob and I both were praying, and that we were doing healing. I was doing healing, Rob was meditating. Um, we know that the scalar work was done, and I know the scalar work works, and I see it work for people every day. But it still just blows my mind that this has actually happened. But how did that happen? How did that happen? And Eric's like, because it did, and you accept it and be grateful for it and move forward and let it be an example to show other people that these things do happen and can happen.
Well, it is truly divine
It
intervention.
really is. It
It
really
is.
is. And have you experienced, like, can you think of a time where you've experienced something where you know the divine stepped in and did something? Do you think of something?
I feel like you're thinking of something for me that I know about that I can't think about.
I
um,
feel like you have had things happen. And here's the thing too, we might not think back because after you tell somebody like, oh my God, like I had a cancer diagnosis and now it's gone. You know, like that is like, whoa, that's a miracle.
I
But
can't think of
miracles,
anything that big for
okay,
sure.
right. But I mean, but things happen every day.
Yes. Yeah, divine intervention. Well, it's so funny that it's just about the prayers. And then getting to know energy and Reiki and all of that. There's a really, really good documentary. I don't know if it's on Amazon or Netflix. I want to say Amazon,
Mm,
called Heal, or The Healing Documentary,
okay.
but but it is about spontaneous healings
Oh, I'm
through,
gonna
and
write that
they
down. Uh-oh, we froze.
really, really good. And that documentary inspired me because there's this one doctor that gets in I think gets run over by a car when he's on a bike or something like that,
Mm,
and he breaks his spine. And the doctors are like, "We need to fuse your spine together. That's the only way, you're going to heal from this." But when he was, I think he was in a coma or something, he heard an angel say, like, "No, you're going to spontaneously heal from this. You just need to meditate," or something like that. It's been a while. But, anyways, he meditates every day, and he visualizes his spine being put back together. And like, I don't know how long it took, but he healed his spine on his own and can walk again like nothing ever happened. And the
wow.
diagnosis was that he would never walk again. Um, and um, so, from what I learned from that documentary about like really visualizing the healing,
Yeah.
I started doing that.
Yes.
And so, like, a few things happened. Like, I remember my sister, she at the time had a newborn and just was like not sleeping very well at all, and was really like, oh, I just like can't even go on. I'm just not sleeping well. And so I did that. And I sent prayers to her and I really visualized, like, so first I grounded myself and then I connected to the light and God. And then I really visualized what it would look like for that prayer to be answered. She would be sleeping and she would be happy and there would be white light around her and she would feel calm. And I did all of this without her knowing. And I kid you not, the next day
The
she
orbs
called me.
behind you, sorry.
The next day she called me or she texted me or something and she goes, you would not believe how good of sleep I got last night. And I was like, what? I just like,
Yeah.
she has no idea. I did that for her.
Yeah.
And then she was sleeping well. And then I like noticed in my healings, like this, I would see like bright white light that would go into a dove. And sometimes it'd be like a really big, like bigger than a dove, like, but a big white flying, I don't know what that animal's called, but it's not of this dimension,
Yeah.
but like a Pegasus or something, I don't know, but
it's something like that.
okay. Anyways, so I would like see them like fly away from me, like after I've said my healing prayer. And so one time my son, he like smushed his finger and they were never like a band-aid heals all, never like, a kiss from mom would ever heal anything. And I was like, well, do you want me to kiss it? And for the first time ever, he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And so I gave him a kiss and I closed my eyes when I did it. And I saw the white dove as I kissed him. And he goes, how come that always how come that made it feel better? Like he was like puzzled that a kiss from me would make it feel better. And I was like, huh, there's like something to this whole like healing thing.
Yeah.
And then oh my gosh, there was one more. But with Rob, when I sent him healing prayers, it was weird. I connected to the light and then I was going to imagine him and imagine the like tumor just, dissipating and like cancer cells dissipating as like just that's, they say like in the heal document, they say just be very specific in your meditation of what you want.
Yes.
And it was weird. It was like, that's what I was going to, and it like put him like weird, like spread out on a table and like sending light to, it was like so weird. Like I had no control over what was the manner in which he would heal, but that's like the first vision that I saw. And I'm not saying it's me, it's everyone, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do believe that
Yes.
our prayers and our actual thoughts have physical consequences to heal.
Yes.
And I'm just so happy for you. That is just the best news.
It really is. And the gratitude that I have, that Rob has for everybody, because it really is, it's a community affair. It really is. When we're healing, what I mean by that is, the power of your healing, the prayers, the healing that we all send, that energy, like, what was it that Helena says this? This is who does the tandem healing with me, and she always says, Jesus said, when two come in my name, then the power is doubled. Or oh, we froze. I'll repeat that again. One man freeze. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay, I know. It's like, oh no.
It froze. It froze. No, what Helena does the tandem healing with me, and she had said, she was reciting something that Jesus said, and she says, when two or more come in my name, that power is increased, right? And that's what's coming to me right now, is when we all come together for the purpose of miracles can happen. And with the belief, and what I will say too is there was a very different mindset from Rob and from our family. Like, yes, we were concerned. Yes, it especially in the very beginning, it was like, oh, here we go again. But truthfully, the difference between this experience and when Rob was diagnosed with kidney cancer 2 years ago, and of course, my experience is like a night and day. So there's a really big piece of it that is our belief system and our belief of, and I think for Rob, his belief was, I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to honor fear,
Yeah.
but I'm going to trust that what happens is the very best. I'm going to trust that I'm going to be okay. And that's what he held on to. So all of that energy just enhanced that, rather than fighting
Yeah.
against it, again,
Yeah.
trying to overcome that. And Elisa will
Yeah.
talk about this in scalar, like when you do the scalar healing, there can be beliefs and subconscious beliefs and everything too that can kind of cancel the energy out almost.
Well,
Because
and I feel like you're probably sitting at a lower vibration,
right,
and then
right,
he was able to keep his vibrations higher, and so it could work better,
yeah,
probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it does make a difference, where we're at and what our beliefs are. It's all part and parcel to it. But can the divine step in and do amazing things? Absolutely. And I've experienced situations where, like speaking of divine intervention, where I'm kind of oblivious to something, or I'm having there's one particular experience I was having, and I was kind of on the fence with somebody, and I was having a hard time making a decision, and this was with a relationship, and this is years ago now, but I was, you know, kind of in that place of wanting to hold on and please that person and not make them upset. And yet I knew that what was happening was not good for me and it was not good for them. And I remember so clearly how the events that took place, and it all happened within, like, I don't know, it was like probably less than a minute. But I don't know how to explain this without kind of giving away who it is. 'Cause I don't want to say who it is, but this person was very upset with me. And there was like this, it was like a phone call came in and a text came in, and I heard just the right words at the right time and knew it was what I needed to say. And I knew that that was a direct
Yeah.
message from spirit to say, let
Yeah.
it go, let it go.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I was not in a place, I was very emotional, and I wasn't slowed down and listening, or, I was very reactive. But I
Yeah.
knew enough in that moment that that was a divine intervention of how everything rolled down.
Yeah.
And, um, and as it went, it was the right decision and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. So they will, and on the other hand, um, we talked a little bit about this before too. Will the divine step in and deliver something challenging to us?
Yeah.
And will they deliver something that is uncomfortable, or have us denied from something where we feel we really, really want it?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, why did that get denied? Why is that not happening?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I going through this? Shouldn't I be past this by now? And all of these things that we may have in our mind. And yet the divine has stepped in to say, we can see something that you can't see.
Yeah.
We know something that you don't know right now. And we're going to step in and we're going to put a stop to what's happening, or we're going to say no, or we're going to spin you in this direction, because in the long run, you will see why that was so important.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for many people listening, this is something that um, is uncomfortable. And some of us might relate this to seeing the tower card when we're pulling cards. And, a lot of people say, oh, the tower, like that means something terrible. But the truth is when something happens, it's happening for us. It's always happening for us. And we have a choice. We can choose to believe something is happening for us or something is happening against us. And we live in a world of free will. We have free will choice in the actions that we take. We have free will choice in the thoughts that we believe. We have free will choice to honor whichever we would like in our experience. And that it happens every second of every day. And so if we decide that something that has occurred in our life is happening to cause problems, is happening to put another roadblock in front of us so that we can't get to where we need to get, then what that's going to do is that's going to enhance that energy. And that's going to create more roadblocks and create more of what you don't want, because we're creators. And also, universal energy is not listening with an intelligence to say, oh, well, Michelle's saying this, and Michelle says, I don't want to go through this anymore. Why do I keep having all this difficult stuff? Now this is never going to happen. Well, so Michelle keeps giving it the energy of this. I don't want this to happen. This is bad. The bad things are going to happen. So we're getting the message of bad things, bad things. So we're going to keep giving bad things. We're going to keep giving what that energy is, I should say, because universal energy is not judging whether it's bad or it's good, right? So I can think of many instances where this is played in my life and continues
Yeah,
to play in my life.
same
But,
here.
and something else that Eric said to me this week, which was kind of a refresher for me, was we continue to grow. We will always continue to grow. And when you're consciously on your path and you're, you know, trying to move through different stages of your life, and once we start building momentum in our life and we start kind of feeling that change taking place, and things are changing and growing and it gets very exciting, and then all of a sudden something drops in front of us, or a couple things drop in front of us, and we're like, oh my god, like, why is this happening? Like, everything was
Yeah.
going so well, why is this happening? But what Eric says is because you will consistently outdo yourself. You will consistently outgrow yourself. And so there's going to be things in your life that when you're wanting to expand and you're asking to expand and you're asking for greater experiences, and and this is dependent on what's happening in your life, right? So each one of us has our own desires of growth. So if there's something in your life that's occurring that is maybe an old habits or attached to old beliefs, or something that's outdated, then you're going to have those type of things that it's connected to pop up so that they can be released. And so they might
Yeah.
come up in, say, a situation with somebody. They can come up in interaction with a stranger. They could come up in a situation that happens, like a physical situation, an emotional situation. There's many different ways that something can come up, and the energy will always move to the path of least resistance that's going to give you the best opportunities. And so what our goal is when something does happen, we have the choice to believe that it's happening for us. We have the choice to say, okay, I may not understand the full picture of why I just experienced that or why that's taking place, but I do know that all of these things that have happened to me, or all of this stuff that I'm working on, couldn't possibly mean that something would be happening now to hold me back. Why would that happen? How could that even be possible? So we have that choice to say, well, I maybe don't have all the information, but I do know that I know what I believe in. I know what I've experienced. I know what I choose to believe in. And that's when you can slow things right down and pay attention to the signs. And for myself, I was saying this to Marin earlier, none of us are like immune to this. we're all growing. We're all
Mhm.
moving in the directions that are for us. We're all creating, and we're all going to have things come up that need to be released and need to be cleared, um and it's not always pleasant because sometimes we're revisiting things that are from our past that we don't want to revisit or that we thought was over with, and maybe there's like a little piece cropping up, and sometimes it's cropping up to say, hey, remember me? Like, how do you deal with me now, with the way that things are now? Or could you be in the situation now and deal with me in a different energy and release me? Um, Sometimes it's just coming up to remind you that you've changed. And by walking through it and applying what you know now, that gives you the opportunity to clear it out of the way. But sometimes situations happen to reorganize, to
Mhm.
reset. And so, what Eric reminded me of is he says, when something arises in the physical, and he says it can set off our alarm bells, especially if it's something that triggers us. So it sets off our alarm bells and can bring us right back into that physical zone where we start to look at, we have to make changes and make moves in the physical reality. And we look at, well, I can't do this because this is in the way. And he says, whoa, whoa, slow down. Because he goes back to miracles and he goes back to things that maybe make no logical sense in the physical world, but are very much real. And so, wouldn't it be much better to be able to apply everything that you've learned and apply this is where I see this is where I want this to go. This is what I want to happen in this situation. And I don't have to control how it gets there. I don't have to control the steps, but I'm going to trust that my guides, my angels, the universe can see that better than I can right now. I'm going to do everything in my power, whether it's my prayer, my visualization. I'm going to take action where I'm able to take action. Is there a responsibility that I need to step up and take care of? Is there something I have to face? Is there a conversation I need to have? Is there, whatever that might be in your life, you take care of what you are able to take care of to the best of your ability. And then you step into that state of imagination with everything else and you play in those worlds of energy, just like you were saying with the prayers, with the kiss, with the healing. That world is just as real as what we're experiencing physically.
Yeah.
So, and that's where miracles are born. And we call them miracles because we don't know how to explain how it happens, right? But it's real and it does happen.
Wow.
So, if anybody is experiencing anything going on in this period of time, especially because we were saying we've had the eclipse season and new moons, and there's a lot of solar storms. And if you look at the NASA, all of the NASA charts, they're off the charts with all of the activity that we have off planet. That all affects us. That definitely all affects us. So, um, we're all in different states on our journey, and I think the best thing to relay to each and every one of you today is that no matter what's going on in your life, you have a choice to choose to believe in this moment, whether it's happening against you or for you. And by choosing it's happening for you, that is the first best step that you can take towards the change in the direction that you desire.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know anything else, working on that thing, working on that one thing, repeating to yourself, I know this is happening for me. I know this is happening to create better in my life. And it's okay that you don't know how, but choosing to repeat that belief, because a belief is, or what is it? A habit is a belief that is repeated over and over and over.
Mhm.
So we want to change our habits, change our belief system So we must choose what it is that we want to experience and repeat that over and over and over
Yeah.
to create that momentum in our life.
Yeah. And I just love what you said, where, we're all just growing. So you can think, I'm on this spiritual path now and I choose all this, but things still keep happening to me. And like you said, we're not immune. And I love the whole where Eric says, well, we're all growing. And I got a visual of like a little tree sprouting out of the ground. And as it's growing, it has to move the soil. And that can't be comfortable, but it has to be dealt with, and it has to be moved for the tree to grow up.
Yes.
And so sometimes, God with divine intervention will put something on our lap, so we have to deal with it so that we can grow and move forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes God gives us miracles, divine intervention.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we can all assist with that with our meditation and our prayers and our positive thoughts.
That's right.
This is happening for me.
That's right. That's right. And it's a real thing, and like I'm still sitting here and I think I'm still processing. I keep saying this over and over again. It's just like I'm journaling about it, and I do journal regularly, and I write a lot about my experiences, and some of these things are just, when I read back, I'm like, is this even my life? Like, is this even happening?
So I think journaling is so important, because it's so funny when you said, like, have you experienced divine intervention? I'm like, well, this entire journey has been divine intervention. I can't like singularly point to one thing. And I look in my journal and I say, I cannot believe that experience happened. I can't believe that experience happened. I can't believe that experience happened. And I think like some of my trepidation of like, telling people about even like a singular story, or that, I am a medium, is because it is so unbelievable. Unless you can like open the journal and read page after page after page after page of these incredible happenings that happen every single day, you just wouldn't believe it. And so I feel like maybe we're a little more adept to having miracles happen to us because we believe they can, because we see them every day.
And that's true too. That's true. And sometimes I forget, like, even when I'm channeling things or I'm saying things, and it seems so like, of course that's that. Like what else would it be? And I forget that, not that I get used to it, but I guess there's like a certain amount of when you live in the world, it's like you eat, sleep, and breathe miracles. Like all the time, no matter what size they are, it becomes your reality. Whatever you do becomes your reality. What you focus on becomes your reality. So and the other thing too is that Eric was sharing with me that there's a lot of because everything is connected, there's like an intelligence, like with our guides, that helps us move to all the different areas of our life and works with everything. So even when we think that we're focused in these certain areas and there might be something over in left field that we're not dealing with or not focusing with, know that it will eventually come. And that's not to scare you. It's be comfortable with that. Be okay with that. Be okay with knowing that spirit has your back, and when you trust that and you start to go through the process to see how life unfolds. And for me in particular, when I'm saying this, I'm really thinking of myself and my own journey, and I think of where I was and how maybe the outside world didn't see me in the state that I really was in, because I wouldn't allow people to see it. Only very few people really saw how bad it got for me. But I was in a lot of denial. But my whole spiritual journey has been healing. It has been a repair process, a repair of my emotions, of my you know, my emotions, my beliefs, about myself, my beliefs about what I'd hoped would be possible, but didn't believe would be. And, you know, once that momentum started to pick up and I started to see that I really do have a say in my life, that what I desire really is important, and it doesn't matter what other people believe about what's important or what people judge in my life. And when I'm saying this, like, there was people that would had known me and would look at my life and say, "You never had it that bad. You never really had any problems. Like, what are you talking about? What have you got to heal from?" And, that bothered me a lot, because then I think, well, yeah, that is true. Like, I did have a good upbringing and I did have a good life. But what's important to remember is what one person experiences. And again, Eric's taught me this with trauma. Trauma is trauma because our level of sensitivity can't be compared one to another. And what we experience in our life can feel just as drastic or as uh, painful or shocking. And two situations can be completely different. But, when I think what I'm saying, there's like the story about the elephant, about two people that touch the elephant and they don't know it's an elephant. And one person describes it as touching something completely different than the other person. And, you really can't compare what one person experiences. And that was something that I always fought with myself against, because I would think, I don't have a right to feel sad about that. Or I don't have a right to, I should know better. I should do better. I had this advantage over this person. So I would continuously compare myself, not in a way of wanting to be other people, but feeling like there's something wrong with me. There's something that's wrong with me, because why am I not able to do these things? Why am I not able to function in normal society? Like, why do I have such a hard time in the world? And it exhausts me so much to keep up in the world when it looks like everybody else is able to get through it and they've had much worse things than me. And that was the mindset that I had. And it took a very long path of working through that stuff to understand that, no, I did have my things and that's okay. And I am built a specific way for a specific reason. And I accept that. And to be in that place of, I really don't give a damn what anybody else thinks about what I have been through or what I feel. This is my journey.
Yeah.
And that's each one of us. Don't compare to anything else. This is your journey. And at the end of the day, this is a journey of us coming back to ourselves. And as we go down our healing journey, more trust is had with our guides and with spirit, because then we start to see all these beautiful things unfold and all the different areas. And spirit has touched my life in so many different areas. And we'll do the same thing for each one of us if we allow that to happen. There, I feel like I just got a whole lot out. Thanks, guys.
Yes. Well, it's true. So I feel like that's my water bottle reflecting on my face.
You've had so many orbs going past you, though.
Oh,
yeah, they're all gathering. Yeah,
they are. And I can't get past that feeling. Yeah, I think it is so important to know, self-worth. You're entitled to this healing, and don't forget to ask. And the more, I think I'm gonna bring it back, the more you write in your journal, the more you'll see the little miracles that happen every day.
exactly.
And the more you'll know that they're they are there for you to have, and and trust that whatever happens to you, this is it's the path. Whatever you're feeling is, there's a reason, and just hold your head up high and
Yeah.
oh,
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It is a good feeling, and it is a good day.
it
And
is.
it really is. And to whoever is listening to this right now and is having a hard time, know that we're with you. And just by watching this video, there is love being sent to you
Yes.
and surrounding you. And as you can tell, they're all surrounding Marin. So they're here and they
I
know.
saw one over your shoulder too, so they're with you
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Um,
I can feel them on either side. I haven't seen any, but I can feel them here. But I feel very supported, very supported.
good. Well, please, in the comments below, obviously, I would love to hear more stories of divine intervention and healing. So share
Yeah,
your stories with us.
yeah,
They just put me in such a space of love.
yeah.
So
And it's
I'd
so
love to read through
helpful.
them.
It's so helpful.
Yeah.
Like, share your inspirations. And Marin and I have talked before too. We have um people that will be coming on and joining us eventually, where we're going to be sharing inspirational stories. And we want to hear what you guys have experienced and are experiencing. And yeah, put in the comments. Also prayers if you're asking for prayers.
Hmm.
Put in the comments if you've got somebody that is going through a hard time and you could use some prayers right now. There's
Hmm.
so many of us that are so um, vibrationally full of love and prayers to give. And like Helena had said, when we come together, it's so powerful. And
Yeah.
that's what we're here to do,
Hmm.
and that's what this channel is all about. It's support and learning. And yeah, well, I think I've rambled on long enough today, but thank
Well, it is so good to hear. So I love it.
yeah, me too. Me too. Thanks, guys, also for all the kind messages and everything. I know I haven't replied to everybody, but I have been getting a lot of really awesome messages, and our family thanks you for them too.
Good.
All right. Well, you guys take care. Have another wonderful week, and we will see you next time. Same place.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Bye.